Hello, this is plus 26 Shade of Medivh, and we're just going to do some commentary over it. So, as a healer, the most important thing in this fight is just planning your healing cooldowns and what you're going to be utilizing from your class for the Arcane phase and the Flame Wreath phase. So, Fire and Arcane phases. The Frost phase does literally nothing. As long as your group is coordinated in a hierarchy for interrupts and things like that, you pretty much hardly ever have to worry about them. But if an Inferno Bolt does go off and your teammate is unable to dodge it, especially in like pugs, this is going to happen a lot. A lot of people are going to get hit by Inferno Bolts. Just be ready to spot heal those players when that goes off. So for the Flame and Arcane phases, you're going to want to make sure that you save a majority of your like big group-wide healing cooldowns for the Arcane phase, and then the Flame Wreath phase should really just be a lot of single target healing and like one or two things from your toolkit that help reduce damage intake, or like a healing cooldown. Like you could go with something like Guardian Angel is or Guardian Spirit as like an example. So here we have the Arcane phase. I'm a little bit late on this Divine Hymn, but you do want to Divine Hymn going into it. I do cancel it a little bit early there. I probably could have safely channeled it the rest of the way. I don't actually know why I exactly canceled it, so that was a mistake on my part. And then really what you're doing here is you just have to play extreme whack-a-mole with the HP bars. So you'll just see people going, their HP bars just going all over the place, and it's on you to just really be on top of never stopping healing. So heal whoever seems to be the most in danger. Use defensives on yourself so that you don't have to worry about it, about healing yourself nearly as much. But be mindful that for the Flame Wreath phase, you are going to want something. Generally, most healers are pretty safe in the Flame Wreath phase if you get it, even as something like a Holy Priest. It's not super ideal, but you have things in your toolkit that allow you to heal yourself for more. So, like Resto Shamans have a conduit. I don't remember exactly what it's called, but it makes your healing surge more effective on yourself. Same thing with Resto Druids. They have a ton of defensive conduits. So Holy Priest is one of the only healers that actually like really struggles with the Flame Wreath on themselves. So again, a majority of your healing cooldown should be poured into the Arcane phase, and then you should just try to use a little bit of things, just one or two, utility spells or damage reductions, or like one small healing cooldown for the Flame Wreath phase. The other thing that's really, really good for Flame Wreath, and if you're in a pug, you just need to let people know ahead of time, is to use health potions and health stones during the Flame Wreath, because that is absolutely huge, and it will carry like multiple ticks of the Flame Wreath. So here's our first Flame Wreath. I use fairies on myself since I don't have Guardian Angel. And Desperate Prayer wasn't up right away, so I used fairies on myself for the damage reduction, and then I applied the damage reduction as well to the Hunter. And then here it's literally just going back and forth and just bouncing healing between the two of us. The Hunter being more important because every time I press heal on him, I am also getting him like a portion of that healing because I take Binding Heal for this dungeon. So again, it's really not as hard as like people make it out to be as far as healing, like the healing output that needs to be done. It's just about upkeeping on it. So it's just about staying up and not letting it, catch up behind you. This is where it gets dangerous, is when you get Flame Wreath and then the boss has done all three abilities, so he reverts back to using, any of the three, and then he Flame Wreaths again like right after. This is where it can be a little bit dangerous, so it's something to be mindful of as far as like mana management goes and stuff like that. But here again, it's pretty straightforward. I get one or two ticks of Symbol of Hope just for a little bit of extra mana. And we're not using things like Prayer of Healing. We're not using things like Renew. Those spells aren't going to help us. It's maintaining our flash concentration stacks and then utilizing our holy words to catch back up when they start falling behind.
We're like Omega dead.
And then that is pretty much it. And if for some reason you ever deal with two arcane phases, which is extremely, extremely rare, even in high keys, but if that does happen, that's where there's not really much you can do. It's using a lot of your healing cooldowns for the first one, and then the second one you just have to use like damage reduction and health pot and health stone if you didn't get the flame wreath. Like whoever didn't get targeted by flame wreath should be using things, on the next bird phase or on the bird phase in general if you get the flame wreath first. So hopefully that helps. More stuff goes into the bird phase, the arcane phase, and less stuff, but being attentive and staying on top and being proactive is going to help you in the Flame Wreath phase.